Right. I thought I'd try something different today. Look. New one. Different book. Whether you believe me or not, I don't know. It's from 1952 to 1975. Ethics at the University of Oxford. Introduction. Since 1938, Everyman's Library has included a volume entitled Hindu Scriptures. And when the present author was invited to produce a new edition of this volume, he was faced with the alternatives of either retaining the previous selection from the vast corpus of Hindu sacred texts in the translation selected by the former editor, or of making a new selection and using already existing translations, or of making his own selection and translation. In the event, it was the last alternative he chose. There seemed to be good reason for this, for although the canon of Hindu scripture, known collectively as the Veda, is vast, it is generally agreed that only a relatively small portion of it is of abiding importance and of interest, and this portion is the latest in time, what is called the Vedanta, or end of the Veda, which means those speculative treatises in prose and verse known as the Upanishads. In addition, there is the Bhagavad Gita, which actually falls outside the canon, but which has from the earliest times been held to rank equally with it in authority. Obviously, then, the Upanishads and the Gita would have to take pride of place in any new edition of the volume. The earlier edition contained 30 hymns from the Rigveda. The two long prose Upanishads almost in toto, 3 shorter verses ones, and the Bhagavad Gita. This meant that 8 of the classical Upanishads were totally unrepresented, though both in matter and in quality some of them at least are of the greatest importance and of striking beauty. The balance of this selection seemed to be wrong, as the previous edition contained much matter, particularly in the 2 long prose Upanishads, that is frankly incomprehensible to modern readers, the originals. Indeed, the former editor, Nicol MacNicol, went so far as to say that the Upanishads are themselves witnesses how foolish and how futile their thinking often was, as well as sometimes so wise and so discerning. Or, in the later Professor Edgerton's words, the dry bones of the Vedic ritual culture frequently rattle about in them in quite a noisy fashion and seriously strain our patience and our charity. 1. Franklin Egerton, The Beginnings of Indian Philosophy, page 28. It is these passages which even the most ardent admirers of the Upanishads, among whom I count myself, find embarrassing, and I have not hesitated to eliminate them. To compensate, I have included all the shorter Upanishads in total, and all, perhaps more than all, perhaps more than all, that is essential and of abiding value from the rest. The canon of Hindu scripture, as we have seen, is called the Veda, a Sanskrit word which means knowledge or wisdom. There are in fact 4 Vedas: the Rig Veda, or Veda of hymns, the Sama Veda, the Sema Veda, or Veda of chants, the Yajur Veda, or Veda of sacrifice, and the Asarva Veda, the Veda of Asravan, which is in fact largely composed of magic charms. Magic, real magic. The Atharva Veda is later in date than the other 3, since even in later times 3 Vedas are usually spoken of, not 4. Each Veda again is divided into 3 strata. Each Veda again is divided into 3 strata: Samhitai, collectives of hymns, chants, and sacrificial formulas, as the case may be. Brahmana expository texts dealing with the minutiae of the sacrifice, and the Upanishad, speculative treatises which began to turn their back on ritual and to speculate on the nature of the universe, on the nature of the inner self of man and the relationship between the two. It is these Upanishads, or parts of them, that compose the bulk of this book. The religion of the Rigveda is related and comparable to the religions of other Indo-European peoples. Don't forget, the Indo-European peoples was the ones taken over by the Westerners. So whatever their belief system was in them days, before the Westerners invaded and captured them and treated them like slaves, according to history, and took over their lands and gave them schools and taught them how to be Westerners, the Indo-European peoples had their own belief systems, their own, their grandparents taught them through their way of life. Like they learn how to do things from birth. They taught how to do recipes, and they taught how to make their own clothes, and they taught how to be sewing, knitting, weaving, crocheting, all kinds of stuff like we do here. But also they were taught about the fire, earth, water, and air. They was taught already. That's not Westerners stuff. So when you watch a Hindu film, or you watch a Persian film, or you watch a Greek film, or you watch any other film from a different country, just be aware that all that crap they say is their Indo-European people's beliefs is all bungam. Is Western added to their culture already. Alright? Like in Kurdistan, there was barbaric Greek and Kurdish place. They called Caucasian mountains. Between the mountains between Kurdistan or Kurdish place and the ones between that and India. That mountain range at the top from India is Afghanistan, around the corner from Kurdish people. Then it's like the Iran, Iraq, then it's Turkey, down from there is Syria, down from there is Georgia. All our area was overtaken by peoples. Before Alexandrian Library was created, and before he was born, because he only went to school in 522 AD. So before that, all that area was taken over by Westerners, or wherever the invader was, peoples. And there it says they are Indo-European peoples. They was already taken over by conqueror before the Roman era, before 8 BC or 800 BC, whatever it was called. Because the Darius coin and Alexander the Great's mother, according to the film, where it's shown not to usually film writers usually turn around and look up data to put into films. In historical facts. They don't just put jargon in the rubbish. But I was old ones anyway used to not. But when they wrote the 2 DVD discs of Alexander the Great and his mother, don't forget Alexander the Great wasn't born until 1220 AD or 521 AD. He was only a baby when he was put for Aristotle's training in the letter to the Catholic priest of the monastery for college. That's what it says in those saints' books. I burnt them, the rubbish. I'm not going through all that rubbish about who's what and where. Because, like I said, Indo-European peoples is a Westerner name for people that's already been taken over by other people. They've already been conquered by invaders, and they have got nothing they got nothing indigenous left. The grandpas, grandmothers, everybody died. They've all been taken over and retrained as Europeans pre-522 AD. And then Alexander went over there and done the same thing as what Darius done. And when he was over there, he found out the god his mother believes in as a god is just a conqueror like him. That's what he found out. Maybe 1,000 years before, but still just a conqueror. And he turned him into barbaric Greek. So it says anyway, but I was told not to know. I'm just repeating what they said. Like I wasn't living then. None of us was. Anyway, to get on with the book. The religion of the Rig Veda is related and comparable to the religion of the other Indo-European peoples, those of Greece and Rome. So was 800 BC to modern era. For example, it starts by being polytheistic, but it does not develop into the modified monotheism that we find in Greece and Rome, with one god, Zeus or Jupiter, emerging. Zeus is the sun, Jupiter is a gas giant, emerging as the undisputed ruler of the West. It takes a very different turning and develops into something wholly Indian. No such thing as Indian. That's a Westerner word for a people. It's not their name for themselves. It takes a very different turning and develops into something wholly Indian, as in India, or Indian as in America. Something quite different from the religion of any of the other Indo-European peoples. None of the gods, not even Indra, to whom nearly a quarter of the hymns of the Rig Veda are dedicated, ever reaches the supreme distinction of being the undisputed king of gods and men. Now, listen to me now. I say Zeus is sun and Jupiter is a gas giant. But in the day 8 of the Bible, it states that they abolished the Lord of Hosts. The Lord of Hosts is one in the sky. The Lord God of Hosts is one in the sky. He's not on the planet we live on, or whatever, or egg, or turtleback, whatever you want to believe it, horse's belly, whichever one you want to believe. The inlet says on day 8, on day 7, God rested from all his works. On day 8, he says, he abolished, got rid of the Lord of Hosts. Well, you can't get rid of the Lord of Hosts. The Lord of Hosts, he can't get anywhere near of, because he's not on the planet. The one who wrote the book is on the planet. The one that's not on the planet is the one above in the sky. Now, we have 4 suns, so they say, in different belief. In India, no, in Indian people in Indian people in America, in people in Turkey, Iran, Iraq, Kurdistan, Afghanistan, India, Bangladesh, all them peoples, they say we got 4 suns, right? They come round in like a cycle, okay? Same as this one book believes. They come round in a circle. They got different names. I don't know what they're called because I don't speak the dialect. The original speaking voice from books. But I watched a Nine-Tailed Fox Man on TV. On this phone. I watched, and he says, you live a life to regenerate the soul, the spirit of the person you are. You live a life to recharge yourself. Then you go somewhere else. Then you come back, recharge yourself. Then go back. Then come back, recharge yourself as a physical form. And then go back. Then come back, recharge yourself as a physical form. Right? 10,000 years plus. That's what it says in Nine-Tailed Fox video program series from Japan, I think, or China, or Vietnam, or Vietnam or Taiwan, or any one of them places it comes from. Or it could be from London, I don't know. But it's a good story. But what he does is he goes and picks his own tea leaves, checks them all over, makes sure nothing on them, nothing alive, just the plant. And then he puts it in a little cup and he puts his hot water in it. And then he drinks that, as long as it's got nothing alive on it. He catches fish, puts it into a wok, I suppose it's called nowadays. It wasn't called that then. Like a little bowl thing you put on top of a fire. And he makes sweet and sour fish. Everybody, like that. Nobody likes his food. But he makes, because sweet and sour is balanced. So he eats that. He eats other things as well. But the main point of it was the Nine-Tailed Fox. Because she started as a fox. It's her animal of like a clan, all of the family started as foxes, baby foxes. She's the first one in long generation for eight-tailed fox, nine-tailed fox, for nine-tailed fox. The first one in generations and generations and generations. There's a main story about her, the nine-tailed fox one. I haven't found it yet, but I will find it eventually. Anyway, he's very careful about not eating another species. The Dao teacher or master, or he's the supreme god there, some would say. And after so many long lifetimes of coming down, being in a physical body, and then go back, come back to a physical body, 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 go back, for 10,000, 20,000, 100,000 years. Doesn't matter how long it takes. All them lessons you learn. And you become a trainee god. Not you physically, your spirit, or whatever it's called. I don't know what it's called in different dialects, but that's what it says it's called. But it's not, because there's another place that you live, and here you live. It's like, your pet cat. Your pet cat lives a cat life, then goes to this place. Then he comes back as a dog. So he comes back as a dog, learns his life as a dog. Then he goes back. Then he goes back and he learns his life as a cow. Then he goes back, comes back, learns his life as a sheep, goes back, comes back, learns his life as a llama, goes back, comes back. See? Like then, after every animal is done, it goes back as a first human. Then it comes back as another human, and 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 another human, etc., 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 till you reach the pinnacle. The pinnacle. And you're still only training. This is what Nine-Tailed Fox teaches you. But in all that time, you're not allowed to eat another animal. You're not allowed to eat. You're not allowed to be a lion and eat a human. You're not allowed to be a human and eat another animal. See? That's why when Tao is here and he's looking at the corn, he's being delivered now, right? These tea leaves specially picked for him. He's given them. And he checks every single one of them. Nope. That's no good. That's no good. That's no good. Nope. 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 So he has to go to the other side of the country, travelling, to go pick one sprig of tea leaf to put in his little tiny cup to put his hot water onto. And even when he gets home, he checks it. He checks it, makes sure there's nothing on it, because he does not want to eat another animal, another species. He don't mind eating plants, but he does not want to eat species. So he rejects all what was delivered to him, and he only drank that one sprig of tea, special tea. I don't know what it's for. But that's when he was a god in his god land, not when he was down on human land. No, human physical form. No. He was when he was pinnacle, but he reached the top. He is the highest one of them all. The woman one was the opposite to him. It's called Demon Goddess Woman, and he got her locked up with a jade stone. With a guard around it, like a force field, so she can't come out. She keeps trying to get out all the time. The yin and yang of male and female, the yin and yang of good and bad, all kinds of things. The yin and yang is also the moon and the sun. A male and female, obviously. That's about it. That's all I know about stuff. But it's only because I learned about it on watching YouTube video. I think it's a brilliant idea. So when I say Zeus is the sun and Jupiter is just a gas giant planet, it's not the truth. And yet it is physically in science the truth. Because they say these planets, and they're just called planets. But in old belief, there were 7 planets and there were 7 gods. and you pray to each individual god every single day of the week. Monday would be, say, don't know what one. Monday to Sunday, you pray to a different god for the 7 planets. That's what it used to be. But don't forget, there's not just 7 planets. There's 10. And they used to pray to all 10 gods before Indo-European name for peoples. But I don't know where it is. I don't know what paperwork it would be in to find out what the original names of the planets would be. Same as there's in every place there's the fixed stars that don't move, never move. And then there's the moving stars that is called the zodiac signs. They're not called the zodiac signs then. They were called something else. Like a cat in the sky could be a camel in a different place, or a goat in one place could be a unicorn in a different place in history and in a different land. Because it says in a Bible book about unicorns and rainbows. Now, unicorn used to be a star constellation. Rainbow used to be a star constellation. They're not anymore. The giant snake used to be a star constellation. It's not anymore. All these things, old names of things, is not there anymore. They've been obsoleted or not deleted, but other people, modern era people have come along and wrote it all down, and you put their own names down. Like a comet will come past, haven't come past for 20,000 years. Somebody will name it after their daughter or wife, but you won't have the original name. That kind of thing. Not so much obsolete, but as in, we wasn't alive then, and we haven't got the paperwork for the original names of them. Because of the Indo-European name peoples. Because everybody in the world would be classed as Indo-European peoples. Because everywhere in the world, on a map of the world, the NASA done, is all conquered people. None of them are the originals. Not anywhere. Here anyway. And that's really sad because we've lost all their histories. The archaeology is really good. They find loads of different pieces of pottery and jewelry and everything. Even bones and their clothes, their necklaces, their bracelets, everything. They can't come alive and tell us what it is. They can't come alive and say, oh, yeah, when I was 2, this comet come past and it's called so and so, so and so. They can't do that for us. So I'm hoping this internet stuff, I'm hoping it'll stay. And people's memories and stuff in 1,000 years will still be here. Like in our future place where he goes time traveling. Like him. And they had a man there with hologram glass. And that hologram glass man would say what year and everything. Maybe people's memories are on the internet with all of Facebook and Yahoo and all the different things. Maybe it'd be good to keep. Maybe they will keep it alive as they update stuff. Because I noticed when they updated from Betamax videos to VHS videos, they didn't update all the films, only certain ones. When they updated from VHS to DVD, they only updated certain films. They didn't do them all. I think that's a shame because some of them are really nice. They give a nice warm heart glow inside when watching them. They didn't move them all, only some of them. I suppose they only had enough money to make so many. So yeah, Facebook and everything else. I hope they keep it all for future generations to look at as historical documentation. I'm doing this because I want to get used to talking out loud. I don't talk to many people. I don't like talking anyway. Never have done. And I want to keep the book. And I give it back to the library. It's not my book. I only borrowed it. Only now I'm reading it. I had it a year. But we haven't asked for it back yet, so it's pretty good. Anyway, I've already explained Indo-European peoples. And that's worldwide. People are called that. Because they're all conquered people who were given back after all their elders have died. Their religious stuff and their family heritage after the conquerors have gone through it, removed things they don't want you to have. Unless you're very lucky and you found somebody who's telling you the truth. Like the beginning of this is supposed to be a horse, and the horse explains the universe and God in this one. It's more than that, but that's a little part of what it is. We here have got a white horse in the hill. And it's always done. People go up there and put white chalk on it to keep it alive. It's just a horse with a short tail, like they used to have in Europe, like they used to have in archaeology. So it is important because it was important at the front of this book in all the translations, and except for this one. So it must be important, otherwise it wouldn't be in the books. The people of the belief would have asked for it to be removed. So it's got to be important. But it's not in this one. So I'll find, once I've read this one now, I think I'll look for the next one. The ones at the front I don't like, can translate it, but don't accept it as fact. Like the Diamond Sutra of Buddha is non-canon Buddha. There was 5,000 Buddha believers and they rejected the Diamond Sutra. No, I read the Diamond Sutra. I didn't know what it was. I read the first part. I read the end of part